What's up, Chop?
What's up, Q? Today's episode is sponsored by
Amazon Prime and Amazon Video.
Get your 30-day free trial, and you can find the links under the description. Enjoy. And we're live today.
So everybody, this is Q and Chop, chopping it up. Man, Chop, who we got today?
Man, we have Steven Miller. He's entering his 9th professional season today. Not today, but I'm sorry, six with his North Carolina FC in 2020. Will serve as a team vice captain 2020. Longest actively tenured NCFC player since having arrived in 2015. Steven, how are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you for coming in.
So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Steven?
Yeah, so grew up outside of Philadelphia. Played a bunch of sports growing up, baseball, basketball, and soccer, and ended up focusing on soccer, and ended up going to Colgate University. And from there, I had a pretty good career. Had a few injuries, a few surgeries, but was able to bounce back and had a good career, and ended up getting drafted by Montreal Impact. And from there, I ended up signing my first contract to play in Denmark in 2013, and then came back to the States in 2014, played in Wilmington for the Hammerheads, and then actually took a trip out to Tulsa, Oklahoma for a year and played there for a year in 2015. And then at the end of that season, I came on loan here when it was then Carolina Railhawks, and signed for the last 5 games of the season here before Carolina bought me out of my contract in Tulsa and signed me to a 2-year deal. So I've been here since the end of 2015, loved every minute of it, and happy to have laid down some roots here and set up shop for a while.
That's great. That's great to hear. Like I was telling you up there, I remember seeing you 2015, and I was like, man, this guy can play. Like finally we get some players to get going, And then you just fit in. People love you. People like to talk to you every time after every game. Kids want your autograph. It's a great experience to have you here.
Yeah, thanks. I obviously on the field, I do what I can do. I control what I can control. So always work hard and always, work as hard as possible and always be running up and down the sideline. But the stuff off the field, I think that's something that's easy for guys like me to, in my position, to do. Be engaging with the community, the people that support us. We try to support them. So especially the young fans that look up to us. And so a lot of times, I'll stay after and sign autographs and just talk to people, because how often does somebody actually want my autograph, right? I'm not going to be playing this game forever, and it's pretty cool that people actually look up to me and want my autograph, want to take pictures with me. So I try to give it back a little bit to them.
That's what's up, man. How was it bouncing from team to team early in your career? Did that have any effect psychologically, or did you like it, the different experiences? Yeah,
so every place I went, it was a great experience, a great life experience. But honestly, it was tough. It's tough because at that point in U.S. soccer and the USL, you were signing 6-month. Actually, my first contract in Wilmington was a 5-month contract. So I moved down to Wilmington with preseason was 6 months, and then I moved back home with my parents at the age of 26 for the off season, and I would coach and stay fit and essentially live with my parents for 6 months, and then I went to Tulsa. So it's a lot of moving and it's a lot of uncertainty, and you never really feel like you're setting up for a long time. So I never really made any of those places my home, and I was always kind of looking to the next thing. And then when I got bought out of my contract in Tulsa by Carolina, they signed me to a 2-year deal. I realized, all right, this is real. This is for the extended future, and I can, actually make it home. So that's what I did. I actually went out and bought a bunch of stuff and for my apartment and made it as much like home as I could. And like I said before, it's been great, and I've loved every second of it since.
I want to go back from when you graduated from Colgate, right? It went to the draft. How was that experience?
It was awesome. So I didn't expect to get drafted at all. I had a good, it was actually my fifth year because I redshirted 1 year. Had a really good fifth year, but coming from Colgate, you're unknown. And honestly, I didn't think anybody was going to take a chance on me. I didn't know that anybody knew me. I talked to my coach at Colgate. I think it was the day before the supplemental draft. So at that point, there was the super draft, which is the first 2 rounds, and there's a supplemental draft, which is 4 rounds at a later date. And so going into the supplemental draft, I talked to my coach the day before it, and I was like, "Is there any interest? Has anybody reached out?" And he said no. And then the next day, I was actually at Colorado Rapids Combine in between sessions, and I got a call from my coach saying I had been drafted. So I wasn't watching it; I had no idea. And so I was pretty excited, and I went up to the Colorado coach and I said, "Hey, like, I'm not sure what to do in this situation." And he said, "Your rights are owned by Montreal, so you can't train with us." So I got on the first flight and flew home to celebrate with my parents. So it was a really cool experience. I was shocked, and my mom actually was following it from her computer at home, and she didn't even see me get drafted. So when I called her, she was so surprised and so excited. So it was a really cool experience for me.
That's awesome. I always wanted to get drafted, man. I always wanted that experience.
Yeah, it's something that I'll always have for sure.
I think that's every kids that wants to be a pro athlete, wants to get drafted, wants to be in the big screen. Everybody wants to be drafted in the first 2 rounds, so you give everybody notice you and all that, but they don't see the hard work that goes through it, waking up, doing 2 days, waking up in the morning, go for a run, eat good, not partying, not smoking, not doing anything,
Yeah.
Some people don't want to do that,
Yeah. Yeah, and for me, and soccer is different than a lot of other sports where just because you're drafted doesn't mean you're getting a contract. So for me, I didn't get a contract, and I was the first pick of the third round of the supplemental draft. So I think it was 77th overall, and I went to Montreal, and they expected me to be there for 4 days. I had a flight home after 4 days, and they canceled my flight and they invited me out to camp in LA. And every day, every couple of days, guys were getting released. They were bringing in new guys, and it was stressful. And I was just happy to be there. I was like, all right, I'll keep playing, and as long as they want me, I'll stick around. And they ended up bringing me to their next camp in Orlando, and I made it through that. And then they're getting ready for their first preseason game, or their first regular season game. And the coach came up to me and he's like, "Hey, we haven't been able to focus on you very much recently because we're focused on our first team, and I'm not sure there's a spot for you, but why don't you try to get on another team and we'll keep an eye on you." So that was kind of what happened. I was kind of flying under the radar and sticking around, and they held on to me for 7 weeks, and it was great. But at the end of the day, I didn't get a contract, and it was really disappointing. But at the same time, it was a great experience. So just because I got drafted, it was huge, and I love that. And I'll always have it. But at the same time, it didn't mean, it didn't guarantee me anything. And it's something that I wish that I could have had another opportunity in MLS.
Yes, and then you jumped to a different continent. You went to Europe.
Yeah.
Denmark.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, it was cool. So it was a really good experience. I actually was going on trials and going to combines here in the States. And, I was never that person who had ambitions to play in Europe. A lot of Americans, all they want to do is play in Europe, and that was never me. I wanted to play here. I guess I'm a little bit of a homebody, but the opportunity came up over there where it was guaranteed, and I was kind of jumping through hoops over here, talking to people, and, nobody was ready to sign me and offer me a contract. It was, come to this trial, come to that combine. We like you, but we're not ready to sign you. And that was guaranteed. So, what's the saying? A bird in hand is better than two in the bush. I was like, I got to take what's guaranteed. So I found out on a, what was it? A Saturday morning, and I flew out Sunday morning to Denmark. So I packed up my life in 24 hours and I flew, across the world to Denmark and started that journey. And I was there for a year. So it was a really cool experience, and the Danish culture is really cool. Everybody's so super nice over there. Everybody's really laid back. It was a really good experience, but at the same time, I think I always kind of was wanting to be at home playing, so that was always the goal. So I kind of use that as a little bit of a stepping stone to get back over here in a better spot, so that I would be able to sign over here.
Was the play a little bit different over there?
Yeah, it was a lot different. So it was a lot more technical than I was used to. Coming from Colgate, the Patriot League is really rough, and it's a lot better now. But when I played, it wasn't the most skilled league. It was a lot of defending, a lot of hard work, tough guys, and so athletically, I was probably one of the better players in the league in Denmark. But technically, it took me a little bit of time to adjust. I remember going to the first training session. I was like, "Oh wow, this is good. This is fast." It's something that I wasn't necessarily expecting, but definitely forced me to adjust and definitely put me in a better spot for when I actually did come back to the States.
Oh, so you think it made you a better player than most definitely
Yeah,
playing over there?
definitely made me a better player, made me smarter, it made me more aware. Before I think I was this naive kid who just expected to be able to sign a contract in the U.S. because I got drafted. Whereas when I went over there, kind of changed my perspective, and I realized that I needed to develop as a person and as a player.
So when I was going through the rankings too, just like you did, going from workout to workout to tryouts to you never know what it's just a tryout. This they tell you there's gonna be 20 coaches, but they don't give you names or no team names. You just go out there and you got pay or play, and you got try out. But why is it so hard in the U.S. for us players, to find a team where, like in Europe, like you play and you look good, they sign you up, and then if you got parents with you, they'll pay for everything.
I think there's just way less opportunity in the U.S. There's way fewer teams. So in Europe, South America, there's just so many teams. So say you go on trial with one team and the top division, it doesn't work out. Maybe they'll pass you on to a team in the second division. Or they'll say, we'll give you a chance, or we'll pass your information, give you this team's contact, go try out for them. And there's so many different teams over there. Whereas here, it's you have MLS, which is kind of this club that once you're in, you're in, and once you're out, you're out, and it's not really much movement in and out of it. And there's USL, and that's really it for professional soccer. So obviously there's PDL, and there's now NISA and MPSL, and there used to be NASL, but it's really not. There's just far fewer opportunities. And then so when you have that, and you have tons of people, I mean, how big our country is, how many college teams, how many people who want to be professionals. It's crazy to think the opportunities just are so few. So whereas in Europe, there's tons of teams, and most of the countries are a lot smaller than the U.S. So there's more opportunities for local people or domestic players. Here, it's you bring in your internationals, and then you fill in around those internationals with Americans, and there's only a certain number of opportunities. So I think that's what makes it hard to begin with. Knowing that, and then going into an environment where you're on trial and knowing how few of opportunities there are, it just mentally makes it difficult. You're training, you're playing with guys you've never played with before. It's just kind of the odds are stacked against you, and it makes it very tough.
Yes, it makes it tough on the athletes that want to become pros, and they advertise that the U.S. is ready for soccer. It's growing, the franchises are getting bigger. It's gonna be more teams, more league is gonna be different. It's gonna be newer stuff. But I feel like they still kill it by doing all these trials, and you don't know. And like you said, once you're in, and once you're out, you're out. And it's not like Europe or Mexico and South America, where okay, we put your second division, third division, keep going until we find you a good spot. But yeah, I guess it's just time that needs to. I think in the near future, I think we're gonna be in that level in America.
Yeah, I hope so. It's tough because obviously there's the leagues follow the money, and if teams aren't making money, they're gonna stop either paying, or they're gonna stop existing. So we'll see what happens with this coronavirus, how it affects the leagues and teams. But I think we've seen an increase in the USL number of teams and all the leagues as well. But there still is not. We need tiers like there are in Europe, so that players don't fall through the cracks. And if they do, they land somewhere. Because what's happening now is players fall through the cracks, and then they don't have a team. And then coaches look at them, say they stick around and they don't have a team for a year. Coaches are like, well, why would I sign this guy? He hasn't played in a year. He clearly wasn't good enough to sign on a team. I'm not going to take a chance on him. Whereas in other places, guy falls through the cracks, he lands in a third division team, and then he tears it up and scores a bunch of goals. Now a second division team, first division team are all looking at him. So the scouting is a lot better, and they see these guys, and less people are falling through the cracks. So I definitely think that we need to somehow adjust the system so that more opportunities are given, and guys can actually pursue this. But it's a lot more difficult in this country because there are fewer opportunities, and there's just not as much money.
Yeah, and in America, it's a money team. It's money first, then you can play.
That's how it is in basketball too. You can fall through the cracks easily. I fell through the cracks. I played a little bit, and I've been trying to play professionally and everything. So I know exactly how that is. You stay like you said, you don't get to play a year, and then oh, why didn't you play last year? And I hate that. So, but I was wondering if you pride yourself on being a captain, or a leader, since you will be vice captain, right?
This upcoming year. It's definitely something that I'm proud of. I take very seriously. So in the past, through college, I was always a captain, and then as a young player in the USL, NASL, I'd always led by example, but I was never a captain. So this is the first time. Last year, Deleuze was the captain, but he was hurt a lot, so I was kind of the captain when he wasn't. This is the first time I've actually been named a captain, and it's nice to have that kind of responsibility, because it means this team, this club, this city, it means so much to me. So I try to represent that, and I try to guide those younger guys to kind of feel what I feel and work hard for the team and for the club and the fans that support us.
Yes, awesome. I like the way you're describing that. How you react on North Carolina. You came here now. This is your 6th year here. And people have loved you and people still want you to come to be in here. And now you named team vice captain. It's a blessing to have you here. So I want to go back on a time machine. Let's go back a couple years ago. Do you remember your first goal as a pro?
First goal as a pro?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I asked Dre the same question, and he had trouble.
I do. I remember I do remember my first goal as a pro. It was in Denmark. I do remember it, but I was confused between a couple. I only had 3 over there, but I think I remember which one was the first one.
Do you remember what you did with your first check?
Well, so in Denmark, I wasn't getting a check. I was getting cash. It was kind of a sketchy situation. So I was told I was going to be getting a certain amount of money per month, but the team didn't have enough money to pay me for a worker's visa. So I was actually on a student visa, and they put me up at this folk high school, this sports school, which is kind of unique to Danish culture, where after a lot of the kids over there finish high school, they'll take a year off, and a lot of them will travel to the U.S. or they'll tour other places. And a lot of them do these folk high schools where they take a year and they just there's acting ones, there's sports ones, there's music ones. So they just kind of go and live at these schools and they play sports or do music, stuff like that. So there was one in the town that my club was in. So they put me up at this school, and I was taking gym class during the day, and I was going to training in the afternoons, and it was kind of crazy. But so they put me up, I was living there, they were feeding me, and then they were giving me 500 kronas a month, which is the equivalent of, I don't know, a couple $100 a month, just for pocket change. And then it stopped coming, randomly. And then it would only come when I would score or have an assist. And the director of the club would come up to me, I swear, and he'd shake my hand, and he'd have wadded up ball of cash in his hand after games where I scored. And he'd be looking around to see if anybody was watching it. It was really sketchy. And I was I guess this is not supposed to be happening, but I'll take it. I don't know how to handle it. But I mean, it was $100, couple $100. It wasn't a lot of money. But I didn't get paid too much. So I was pretty. I was keeping it the belt a little bit tight back then.
Hey, that's what I mean. It'll be like that sometimes, man. But that's experiences right there, and they teach you something. So now that you got your home set in North Carolina, man, what kind of home you got? You got a wife?
Yeah, so
you got kids?
I just bought a townhouse in South Raleigh this past off season. Moved in November with my fiance. I got engaged in December, so I had a pretty busy couple months there. But I'm here for the long haul. My fiance is finishing up law school. Has 2 finals left. She goes to Campbell, and she'll take the bar here in North Carolina, and hopefully she'll get a job in North Carolina, and I'll be hopefully sticking around for a while. So yeah, it's been fun to watch this place grow and kind of grow with Raleigh.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Steven, do you have any hobbies outside of soccer? Like maybe you like chess, or you like to paint, or you like cars, or you
that's
like
a great
something?
question. I should probably find some, especially now during the this quarantine time. But I've been so busy, honestly, for the past few years with school. And I was coaching before, so I was playing, I was coaching, and I was in school. So I honestly didn't have much time for anything. One thing I really do love is fantasy football. So I'll play with a lot of guys in the locker room. We'll play, and that keeps things fun in the fall and on Sundays and some Thursdays and Mondays. So that's something I enjoy. But yeah, like I said, it's been tough to really do too much just because my schedule's been so full for the past few years.
That's okay. You know, it's all right. Once this quarantine finished, you know, you go. We be back to normal, and you probably find something new.
Yeah,
that
well, my
you know by
master's
yourself.
is in statistics, so I've actually found that I really like doing computer coding and data analysis. So, I mean, eventually that'll hopefully be a job of mine, but maybe I can make it a hobby while I'm still playing and do some side stuff with that while my soccer career is still going on.
Well, we are in the triangle, so we're known
Exactly.
for IT. So you're in the right spot for it. It's not like people just come here just for arts. No, we're known for IT.
So
Oh man,
I see you play a little bit of basketball and a little bit of ping pong. What you say the basketball your second favorite sport or your first favorite
Basketball is
sport
my
to play?
favorite
You
sport
said
to play, believe it or not. Ping pong and soccer might be close seconds. I don't know. But Dre Fortune just sent me a video like half hour ago saying I've been practicing, and it was a video of him doing like a behind the back like step back jumper on a court outside by himself, and I was like, Dre, you don't have to prove anything to me, but you took 4 steps there. And he's like trying to tell me he's a good player. We've been talking junk for like 3 years, saying that we have to play 1-on-1 and we're going to bet on it. We haven't gotten around to it, but yeah, I love playing basketball. I mean,
what's your
I'm a
favorite team?
Sixers fan, but they make it really hard to like them. I, it's tough. It's tough. I'd rather
Yeah.
I don't know, them do something where either they're really bad and I actually enjoy watching the players, or like change some sort of mentality. But I really, it's hard to root for them. But I'm also a Villanova fan, so that's been good the past few years, especially what was it, 2016, 2018, I think we won it. Those are some good years, some fun years.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you
Yeah,
beat
yeah.
North Carolina, I'm mad.
I know, man.
Yeah, so that was that 2016? What did it do?
I
That was
think
my
it was
first year here,
2016.
and then
Yes.
Carolina won it the next year, and I think Nova won it the year after that. So yeah, we got lucky. I went to Jay Wright basketball camp as a kid, and was coach of Villanova, so I'll always be proud of Villanova.
Jay
Oh, yeah.
Wright, man,
He
he's
turned
a
down a
coach, man.
Sixers
He
job, I
he
think,
a
a while
coach.
back. He's had some looks in the NBA. He's turned down a lot of, I think, NBA looks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my man from Michigan just got fired from the
Beeline?
Cavaliers, right? Yeah, Beeline. Yeah, couldn't think of his name, but yeah.
I was hearing there's a rumor
And
that
then,
Jay might come to
when's Coach
Duke.
K is he stepping down anytime soon?
Okay, man, he's old, man. I saw him like a year ago, and I was like, come on, man, go home, man, go home, bake some cookies, man. Go home, bake some cookies. Roy, my boy Roy too. He's getting his age, but man, I was talking to one of my friends. We are like, the next two guys that come in and have to replace Coach K and Coach Roy.
Yeah,
they're gonna have hard times. Even Coach Cal with Kentucky, replacing those three guys. I'm like, who's gonna step up? The first guys are gonna get fired the first 2 years, I think. So, it's just those coaches like those, man, like Bobby Knight and other coaches, they're just I call them irreplaceables. They're there for years and years and years, but yeah, they're great coaching. Do you have a? I'm assuming Villanova is your college team, right, for basketball too, right?
Yeah. So you said, have you seen this Michael Jordan documentary? I think Michael Jordan's your favorite player, right? Have you caught any of his games?
I was just telling my fiance, she's too
pretty young, right?
She was born in '95. So towards the end of his career, so obviously she wouldn't have seen any. So I was telling her, I went up to her, I was like, hey, do you mind if I watch this documentary on Sunday night? And she's like, no. I was like, do you want to watch it with me? And she's like, no, I don't really know anything. I was like, I wish you would, but I understand it. I said, I remember when I don't know how old I was. I guess I was probably 7 or 8. We had like this little room with a tiny TV in the upstairs of my house. And me and my brother were watching, in our sleeping bags, Michael hit the game winner against the Utah Jazz in the NBA Finals. And that was like, that was something like I'll feel like I'll never forget that. We just went nuts. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you never forget that. That's Michael Jordan right there. Oh man, you watched that live, man. I'm a '93 baby, so I missed a lot of that.
This documentary I've been waiting for it forever. It's so cool.
I'm glad that LeBron said something, It's like, yo, ESPN, bring it up, man. We ain't waiting until July. We're bored now. Bring it up now. I'm like, this quarantine, every month they keep telling us, oh, first Easter. Now, May 1st. Now that we're talking about in June 30th. Now we're talking about July 15th. I'm like, come on, man. Just can we all just stick together and not go outside for 2 weeks until we get over with? Everybody trying to go. I miss sports, man. I miss going to the games. I miss watching sports. I miss watching
I know
basketball.
it's interesting because obviously we have no idea what's happening with our league, and but they're throwing out ideas for all these other leagues and talking about possibly playing without fans and all that, and like every league's against it because they get so much revenue from game days and having fans in the stands, and I understand that, but at the same time, I feel like they should be able to get TV revenue because people are just dying to watch stuff. They're just dying to watch live sports. So maybe you could sign new contracts with ESPN or whoever.
Right.
That, if you're the only league playing, they can, share the revenue from TV, from media, all that, and somehow make it worth it so that we can play and we can play without fans. But I don't know. It's all speculation at this point. But everybody's just dying to watch something, dying to have some sort of excitement, something live that they can attach to again. So we all miss it though.
Oh yeah, NBA, man, the finals are gonna be real this year. I wanted to see Kawhi and LeBron go against each other. I take Kawhi, man, because I'm a Kawhi fan now. I used to be a DUA fan, but he left, so I picked a new player, Kawhi Leonard. I've been watching him since the Spurs, man. He's nice.
Was that last year? Yeah, the game winner. Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
So how you felt when Jimmy Buckets left? Were you glad that he left, or you want him to stay? I want him to stay. Not being a Sixers fan.
JJ's good. I like JJ too.
Yeah, you got rid of JJ
I don't think we know how to manage Embiid and Simmons, and we just I actually like Toby Harris. Al Horford's past his prime. He's kind of been a bust, but
yes,
I don't know. Jimmy Butler at least he just got it done. He was a grinder, but you're sharing the ball with too many guys, too many stars. And none of them were I guess Simmons and Embiid are like legit stars, but I don't know. I just don't see Embiid that way. I guess like a lot of people do.
Well, Simmons came in short at 3, so let's get started with that. No. Man, boy, he's one of the genders, though, so he got it, though.
He's a special talent when it comes to athleticism and handling the ball, and it's just he just can't shoot. So hopefully he can figure that out during quarantine.
Hopefully he's been practicing his shots during quarantine, you know. Well, a lot of these leagues, Steven, you know, the Mexican league, they're playing it's so fun. It's so fun to watch. They were doing like the leagues, but online on PS4s. So the teams pick one player, and then against, you know, they'll go through the schedule, like, you know, week 1, week 2, week 3, but they do it like every day. You know, to take one player against one player, and then the ESPN or like ESPN will like transmit it, and they will like commentate it live. So they're commentating live. And while the people were like the players are playing like, you know, it'd be a PS4, and they're like live broadcasting each other, you know, they're like mocking each other and all that. The ESPN's like broadcasting it, you know, they're commentating and narrating the whole game. Like it's like a real game. The Premier League was going to do it too. That's actually really
cool. I didn't know that.
I don't know if they did it, but I heard them in talks.
Yeah,
I think we should do that. You know, we should do that. We should do that rent review, like said, TV rent review. You know, you get some money in. I don't know, man, but people need. You know, we need to see some UFC or some boxing or something because, man, people are starting to get nuts, man. Without sports. Luckily, we have this The Last Dance with Jordan, so people could at least watch some sports.
I've never.
Do you play video games, Steven?
Played a little bit of Nintendo 64 back in the day, but that's it. Yeah. I was
Donkey Kong.
Super
I know
Smash
you had to have it.
Mario Party guy. It was more of the collaborative, like with a bunch of people. That's what I like to play. And then GoldenEye. Exactly.
Oh man,
me and
Super Smash Brothers are actually
I used to play here. We used to play all the time. I would go over there, like over to his apartment, back when he was on the team, and we would play for like an hour and a half, and be like, "All right, last game," and then an hour and a half later, we'd still be playing. It was so fun. Yeah.
It brings back memories. So when you're going away, when you guys go, let's say you travel out
on the road, we'll leave on
what do you guys do?
Friday, usually Friday morning after training, fly to wherever we're going, and when we get in, sometimes we'll go train at the field. Sometimes we'll just go for a walk, get a stretch, like kind of get our legs loose from the flight. And then we're on our own for dinner. And then the next morning we have breakfast, and then we have a team walk around noon, and we have video and a meeting after that. And then we have a couple hours to ourselves, and we have our pregame meal about 4 hours before the game. So around 3 or 3:30. And then, after that, we're on our own for another hour or so, and then head over to the field. So, you know, it's a lot of downtime just to lay low, but it's also they keep us busy with meetings and walks and stuff just to keep us fresh, and we're not super lazy throughout the whole trip. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Do you have a ritual, like what you do? Like, okay, I don't use social media on game days.
I used to.
Or, you know, I don't eat.
I used to be
I watch this.
A lot more ritualistic. But I realized that the more things I added to my plate, the more I just stressed about it. And if I wasn't eating exactly 3.5, 4 hours before the game, whatever it was, like, and if I wasn't eating exactly the right thing, then I was going to play badly, and I was going to feel sick. And it was like, so it was so many things that I was just worried about that I started like, it was just too much anxiety. So I actually took a step back, and I was like, all right, I'm going to relax about these things and not care as much. And it actually has had a good impact on me. I have a clearer mind going into the game, and I'm not so worried. So, I used to, I mean, like the one thing I do on home games is I'll go for a walk at some point, and then I'll eat a Jersey Mike's sub because I don't like having a full stomach for a game. So like that'll be my pregame meal. I'll also have a hoagie from Jersey Mike's, and that's about it. I get I think it's number 7 turkey hoagie.
What kind you get?
Okay. I could never.
Oh man, I get that Philly cheesesteak. Ooh. You probably can. You can't eat that before a game. Yeah, you probably. Yeah,
Nah,
that's
man, you
my
be getting
favorite.
cramps
Yeah,
during the game. Like,
I'm a Jersey Mike.
Like, coach, let me out. That's crazy. That's crazy. So any. What's on the future for you, Steven?
I mean, I think like everybody else, everything's up in the air.
For you.
Obviously, just trying to stay fit right now and stay motivated and get through this quarantine. Hopefully, we'll be able to play this year. And then, I'm hoping I have a couple more years left in my career before I can hang them up and pursue the next thing. So, yeah, I'm not sure, but right now I'm just taking it a day at a time, like everybody else.
That's awesome what you just said. I personally do see you having a great time here in North Carolina. You're officially making it home. Your fiance, she's getting the bar. You're right now studying right now for your exams coming in this couple of weeks. So I'm excited for you to be here. And this is your 6th year. I feel like this is gonna be home for you for the rest.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe not the rest of your life,
my fiance has anything to say
for the
about
next
it,
couple of years,
we'll be here for longer than that. So we'll see. I do love it here, and I'm excited to be here for the foreseeable future.
That's awesome. Any tips that you want to give to our listeners that are having trouble in the business or sports, or kids that want to become athletes, pro athletes?
Probably the biggest thing I would say is find something you're passionate about and chase it. And that's what's going to drive you if you're passionate about it. Don't force something. If you don't love soccer, don't force yourself to, obviously you still can be the best and try to be the best and work hard to be the best, but really find something you're passionate about and go after it. That's my advice. Whether it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter if it's business, if whatever. If you're enjoying something, it's not going to feel like work, and it's going to be a lot easier to get up every morning and put the work in and grind it out if you're passionate about it and you have dreams about it. So that's probably the best advice I was given as a young kid. So I'll pass that along.
That's awesome. Cute. Last remarks before we leave.
Yeah, man. Like you said, go get it. We got Stephen Miller here. Just another day. We gotta stay blessed during this corona.
This corona gotta get out. But once again, we're having Stephen Miller here. Steven, thank you for coming in, and it's a pleasure talking to you. I hope to see you soon in the soccer field.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Take a picture and
take care.
Watch you win the game. Thank you very much. Today's episode was with Stephen Miller, NCFC. Guys, thank you for listening to us. Another week. Stay healthy. Stay blessed. See you to the next one.